person drinking tea over there. Isn't that Yelan? Ooh, looks like she's having some kind of tea party with friends. We're just in time. Aren't we gonna go say hi?
Well, Officer Edler, after all that work, I think we've got them this time. Might take a few days to wrap up things in the field. In the meantime, I think you've earned yourself a break.
Much appreciated, Miss Yelan. This case really took it out of me. 13 strongholds. One thieving weasel after another. We rounded up so many people, you almost start to hope a few were innocent, just to balance it out. I'm just glad we finally took down these crooks. Anyway, I'm gonna drop in on that old classmate of mine in Chaoying Village and reminisce about old times.
Don't forget to take some tea and dim sum back to your friends at the Maison Gardiennage.
Oh, looks like Yelan's friend left. Paimon kinda wanted to meet her.
Another pleasant surprise. Traveler, Paimon, take a seat. Excuse me, a pot of your finest Yunlai white tea if you would, and 2 more place settings. Now, judging by that expression, I assume you came over to ask about the 2 spies that were just watching us.
Ah! Spies? What spies? There were spies around here just now?
Oh, more than that, I'm sure. I bet they already sent someone to tail Officer Edler. Anything to foil our operation.
Oh, so you're tracking down some criminals? They've got some nerve spying on you like that. Pretty bold if you ask Paimon.
Well, those tend to be the kinds of cases that cross my desk. If I could leave it to someone else, I would. I could have been on vacation right now. Mora laundering, to the tune of 10 figures and counting.
Laundry? What does that have to do with Mora? And who are these figures? There are 10 of them?
In layman's terms, a certain merchant in Fontaine possesses a large amount of mora obtained through illicit means. But it's easy to get caught when you're moving that kind of cash. So you cover your tracks, create a front to avoid detection, and what do you know? Your illegal mora now looks completely legit. And this merchant's front of choice? Fine art and antique auctioneering. He buys goods from all over Tevat, brings them back to Fontaine, and rebrands them as pieces of fine art, driving up their price in the process. Then, when the items go to auction, he buys them up at their inflated price with his own illicit funds. And through this exchange, the proceeds he receives in return are clean. This process allows him to legitimize his illicit wealth. He even launders mora for other criminals as well, a business which earned him the title the Dark Financier. That's to be expected, I suppose. In Chenyu Vale, you can get your hands on exquisite antiques without breaking the bank. Tea sets, porcelain, jade, statues, all easily marketed as pieces of fine art. Liyue goods being used in illicit underground schemes poses a real threat to our trade standing in the long run. So, instead of getting to enjoy my long-awaited vacation in Fontaine, it's back to work for me.
Okay, Paimon thinks she gets it now. It's like moving mora from one hand to the other. In other words, just disguising where it originally came from. But if you know what this merchant is up to, shouldn't it be pretty easy to catch him? You go to the auction, wait for him to appear, then nab him right as he goes to purchase his expensive piece of Liyue art.
Not a bad plan, Paimon. But there are too many loose ends. If you were the mastermind behind this whole scheme, would you really expose yourself as the face of the operation?
Oh, yeah. You wouldn't want to be seen doing the dirty work. You'd send someone else instead. Like, if Paimon was the bad guy, she'd send the Traveler. No, wait. Even if Paimon turned bad, the Traveler would never... Paimon would need, like, a group of minions or something. Oh, Paimon gets it now. Even if you track down the goods, if this dark financier guy isn't the one doing the buying at the auction, you won't catch him.
It's not just a matter of who's at the auction. You also have to source the goods, transport them back to Fontaine, get them to the auction house, none of which are tasks he performs himself. He has a whole crew to hide behind. Tracking down the goods is already complicated enough. They change hands so many times, the trail is almost impossible to follow. So the most logical course of action is to play the long game. You start small. You find someone you can follow behind all the smokescreens, who'll lead you straight back to the Dark Financier himself.
Wait, so you were just pretending? And to think, Paimon thought all that stuff about wrapping up the case and taking a break was actually true.
Right you are, Traveler. Working with the Millilith and Officer Edler, we managed to launch attacks on all of the Dark Financier's strongholds, which allowed us to nab most of his crew. Those spies just now were his most important agents, the two people he trusts to have direct contact with him. The first is Corday, a senior member of the Fontaine Antique Association, in charge of auctioning off the goods. And the other is Dodamani, a ship owner from Sumeru and longtime cargo transporter. They're under pressure to salvage the situation, so we let them slip through the cracks on purpose. The goal is to make them think that, by some stroke of luck, they're in the clear and have room to act. They think keeping tabs on Officer Edler will allow them to operate under her radar and get whatever remains of their goods out of Liyue. But little do they know, while their attention's fixed on her, I'll be secretly gathering the intel that's gonna bring them crashing down. So, interested in coming along for the ride? I'm curious how you take to this line of work. Could be some potential there.
Yeah, we kind of stumbled into this whole thing, but now we're a part of it too. Let's do it! For Yelan, for the people of Chenyavale, and for, the Liyue business world!
I admire your selflessness, Traveler in Paimon. Let me be the one to look out for your self-interests then, namely your payment. How about we do this the Fontanian way? You'll get exactly what a top agent receives for a dangerous field mission. Getting started is always the hardest part, but luckily, I have a lead. The Dark Financier's crew is even more on guard than usual, so our best bet is to do some counter-surveillance to get on the right track. And I think I know just the place to start. Let's head northeast and see if I'm right. All right, let's start our investigation here.
So, we can all agree this is just a normal stretch of wilderness, right? Paimon doesn't see any bad guys to nab around here.
Well, it didn't take long for you to understand our role here, Traveler. Thinking like a top agent already. Impressive. Like I said, we need to start small. If we want to track down the man himself, our best bet is to start with his goods. So right now, finding his stock is our #1 priority. And to do that, locating his hidden stronghold is imperative. Which brings us to why we're here. Pretty good vantage point from up here, don't you think?
Huh, guess so. Paimon can see the port of Elang Wharf, the boats in the distance, and some kind of tower. What's that for?
It's a lighthouse. The Millilith use it to monitor the situation at sea. In addition, the flashing of the light can also serve as a means of communication. Oh? Let's hear it. Not too far off at all, traveler. The Millilith maintain an impeccable level of security in Shenyu Vale through consistent patrolling. This location offers a perfect vantage point to observe their lighthouse signals and deduce their patterns of behavior, which is a huge help if you need to move goods under the radar. So we should be able to find traces of the Dark Financier's scouts in this area.
Oh, okay. Paimon doesn't quite follow, but she'll take your word for it.
It's simple. Just take this forensic imaging device and investigate the surrounding area. As long as we're meticulous, I'm positive we'll find something.
We should prepare while we can, then make a preemptive strike against the enemy.
Well, all set? Remember, an eye for detail is key. Clues are often hidden in plain sight. Some good finds. Whatever door this key opens could be critical to the investigation. And this carrier pigeon tube contains several coded messages.
Huh. So there really is evidence around here. It's like these guys aren't even afraid of getting caught. What if the Millilith noticed them spying and decided to investigate?
These objects suggest the Dark Financier scouts were likely disguised as fishermen. People like that are trained not to crack under pressure. All they'd need to do is come up with a believable excuse, like needing a place to rest. The Millilith can't investigate or apprehend a civilian without probable cause.
Paimon can just see their smug faces getting away with something like that.
Not to mention, the traces on these objects are fresh, which means the scout here is still active and wasn't among those caught by Officer Edler. So we need to stay vigilant. We can't let them know we're still on their tail. I had a hunch this area was being used as a lookout, and I was right. But that still leaves the question of where the goods are hidden. Any ideas? Spot on again, Traveler. Looks like you don't need anyone to hold your hand when it comes to deductive reasoning. Given a carrier pigeon's speed, the two locations should be close enough to deliver messages quickly. That means the base we're looking for should be within a certain radius. Ruling out areas within line of sight of the lighthouse, as well as places with a lot of foot traffic.
That just leaves the shallows to the north of Mount Mingyuan?
That certainly sounds plausible. You have the cover of the mountains, and the advantage of hiding right under the authorities' noses. Well, our next destination is decided then. Let's go.
Here either.
That's right. No detail is too small to investigate. I believe in you. The evidence could be even more well hidden this time. All set? All right. I know you have an eye for detail, so use it to your advantage. You've got this.
definitely wasn't easy to find.
Well, well. Looks like you tracked it down in no time at all. I see your potential as a solo field agent, Traveler. Now, time to test out the key we found earlier. Let's see what surprises could be in store. This isn't their home turf, so I doubt they had time to set more traps. Should make our lives easier. I'll take it from here. The last thing we want is to leave traces behind in there. Caution is the name of the game. You two keep a lookout. Make sure no one barges in while I'm in there.
You got it! This is a first for us, but the Traveler can do anything. She's got your back! Good point. Yelan doesn't make mistakes like that.
All right, that's done. I've noted the features of all the porcelain items, vases, and teas stored here. We need to keep a lookout for these features at the auction and pinpoint the person attempting to purchase the corresponding goods. Then, we can let them lead us to our main target.
Wow, that was fast! You must do that all the time, huh?
Now, we wait. There are countless auctions in Fontaine. We can't possibly monitor them all. Besides, that would be a waste of personnel. I'll continue to conduct surveillance in the area, keep tabs on the situation, and attempt to decipher their coded messages. Once his two lackeys move the goods, we can shift our focus to the upcoming auction. And then, we'll have somewhere to start.
Got it! All we can do now is wait. Wait, and then follow them straight to the guy behind this whole thing so we can give him the old 1-2 punch!
This whole time, Officer Edler has been leading her two stalkers on a wild goose chase around Chaoying Village. Once they decide it was all a waste of time, it's her turn to tail them instead. Not to mention our operation has already put them under extreme pressure. We've forced their hand. I doubt they'll last more than 2 days before making a move. So let's meet back up at Yilong Wharf in 2 days. Find me near the harbor.
There have been many poorly written out. Wait. Huh? No. Whatever.
Solidify! Lay waste to the wicked! This is order. Stabilize.
Flicker.
Ad Astra. Thank you for Ad Astra.
We should prepare while we can, then make a preemptive strike against the enemy. Let's take a moment to rest and plan. Our next move. We should prepare while we can, then make a preemptive strike against the enemy.
really have thought of everything. Even the Fatometer is here and ready to go for us.
The Fatometer? What's that?
It's a card that's used to determine action success or failure. We'll need to use it when we try to use certain skills.
And what about all the dessert and tea? Is that for us as well?
That's what the message said.
Oh, really? That's so nice. It feels just like a tea party with friends.
Those snacks have Paimon's name written all over them.
I think you might be more of a snack hunter than a Marashose hunter, Paimon.
Snack Hunter Paimon reported for duty. If there are delicious snacks to be found, Paimon will track down every last one.
The desserts are great, but I'm still looking forward to the story more than anything.
Very fair. Then, let us begin. First, please pick up the blank character cards in front of you and write down your name and profession. You can find an abbreviated version of the rules printed on the back of your character card. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. In this story, everyone is a Marashose hunter. To reflect this, the club has prepared a small badge for everyone.
Ooh, nice.
As hunters, you have proficiency in swordsmanship and fighting by default, so there's no need to allocate any additional skill points to those areas.
Swordsmanship? So there's a fighting part to all of this? Paimon's not sure she can do all that on her own. Maybe Paimon can just stick with you?
Why don't you share a character card then? The Traveler will be the Marashose hunter, and you can be her little floating assistant.
Kinda like in real life.
So, for the name, do I fill it out with the name of my character?
Yep, it can be any name you like.
You can use your real name too if you want. I do that whenever I get too lazy to think of a new name.
Oh, so it would be like experiencing a different life, but still as yourself. That's not a bad idea.
I think I'll continue to use the name Linny then.
Next up is the skill sheet. You have a limited amount of skill points that you can use to learn a number of skills. The more points you invest in a particular skill, the easier it will be to pass associated checks.
I'll take Persuasion and Investigation. Those are must-haves when it comes to missions like these.
Oh, those skills sound like they'd be useful for gathering intelligence. Good idea, Navia. Just as expected of a veteran player.
So should we also take those skills then?
Not necessarily. Since we're working together as a team, we could leave the negotiations to Navia and use our skill points to pick up other useful skills. For example, I think I'll take Stealth and Sleight of Hand. That will give us more options if we run into any situations we can't negotiate our way out of.
Oh, interesting. I wasn't thinking about it like that. I suppose it's not so different from an acting troupe. Everyone has their own role to play. Let me see. I'll take arts and performance. I'm not quite sure what use they'll be, but I'm not as knowledgeable about the other skills, and I am not too confident I'd be able to roleplay them well.
Well, that leaves us. What do you want to learn, Traveler? Ooh, so you want to help people when they're injured. That's nice of you. Oh, something that'll help you get a read on other people's thoughts. Sounds useful. So what do you think? Are you sure you want to learn these two skills?
Let's see. Oh, looks like you each have enough points to choose one final skill.
You've all picked such classic skills. It's fine to go a little bit out of the box, you know.
Why do I get the feeling she's getting ready to cause trouble?
For example, this one here. Summon. Doesn't it sound super mysterious and cool?
Oh, I saw that one just now as well. The description says, this skill can be used under certain circumstances to summon characters or creatures that fit the script's world-building rules.
The script's world-building rules, huh? But how are we supposed to know what a Marashose hunter can summon?
Oh, that's not for us to worry about, my friend. Just learn the skills that interest you, and the GM will take care of the rest.
All right, you've convinced Paimon. Let's learn summon then. Paimon can't wait to see what kind of thing shows up.
Well, now that everyone's more or less finished creating their characters, we can begin. Since 2 of our players are doing this for the first time, though, let me ask. Would you like to play on easy mode or authentic mode?
What's the difference between the two?
Well, in role-playing games, the story sometimes changes based on the decisions of the players and the results of the Fatometer. For example, if you fail a check, that means you cannot use the target skill in that scenario. A critical failure may even result in further negative consequences. If you choose to play in authentic mode, every time you elect to use a skill, you'll need to use the Fatometer to see whether you succeed or fail, and face any consequences that may follow. If you choose easy mode instead, every check will be successful by default, and you won't have to worry about luck playing a factor.
Given that I'd like to focus on the story, I suppose I should pick easy mode. I'd feel bad if I brought the team down by failing my checks.
Huh? Oh, come on. Don't worry about that. RNG is the lifeblood of role-playing games. I'm going with authentic mode for sure. Never knowing what you might have to overcome. Ugh, doesn't that sound exciting?
I'd rather be mentally prepared for what might happen.
All right, then I'll mark down Farina for easy mode. All her checks will be successful by default. As usual, Navia and Linny will play on authentic mode.
What about you, dear partner? How would you like to play?
Are you sure?
Trust me, you'll see the beauty of RNG. Honestly, I don't think Clorand would make things too difficult for us no matter what the Fatometer says. Isn't that right, Clorand?
No promises.
That wasn't super reassuring.
Well, anyway, enough talk. Let's get started. I want to experience at least a good chunk of the story today.
Speaking of the story, why is the beginning scene on a beach?
Well, that's because... a long time ago, back when human civilization was still in its infancy, powerful demons and evil sorcerers ruled over the land. They created a host of monsters and sent them to slaughter all humans in existence. Soon, a group of human rebels banded together. With their swords raised, they swore to brave the darkness, and in doing so, subdue each and every monster that sought their destruction. They became known as the Marashose Hunters. Sometime later, as a member of the Marashose Hunters, you receive a commission. Following the address provided on the message, you take a boat and arrive at this strange city. As you inhale, you can taste the slightly salty air of the docks as you begin to survey your surroundings. There aren't many people in the vicinity, but you do take note of a few others who, like you, seem to be sizing up this place. Your eyes meet.
and you realize these people are fellow marechaussee hunters, likely led to this location after receiving the same commission as you.
You're all marechaussee hunters too, right? Allow me to introduce myself. The name's Navia, monster hunter by trade and helpful neighborhood businesswoman on the side. What say you to traveling together? We can help each other out on the road.
Okay, count me in. My name is Linny. I've been wandering since I was little and picked up a few less than legal tricks along the way. I was adopted by a marechaussee hunter and later chose to follow in his footsteps.
Is this where you introduce your character to everyone? It sounds like they've done this dozens of times. My name is Farina, and, I grew up in a noble family. I always had a strong interest in performance and the arts. Even though I'm a marechaussee hunter, what I really want is to be a performing artiste.
Hey, that's really cool. You can do it, Farina. That's exactly how it's done.
Paimon is Paimon, a good friend and companion to this marechaussee hunter right here.
I've been studying medicine ever since I was a child. I want to do my part to eradicate these monsters and use what I've learned to heal others.
Oh, welcome, welcome. When we face the monsters, I'll make sure to charge in front to give everyone some cover. You can take care of the healing at the back.
You open your envelopes at the same time. The message reads, "To the honorable and trustworthy marechaussee hunters, our kingdom is currently facing a grave crisis. The lands outside the capital have been overtaken by monsters, and our people are being led astray by forces of wickedness. We beseech you, please help us resolve this crisis and return peace and stability to our home."
Huh. The layout of this city looks super familiar. It kind of reminds Paimon of Mondstadt.
The scriptwriter must have used a real-world city as a reference when coming up with the map.
As experienced hunters, the layout of the city reminds you of places once traveled. You recall the sight of tree-lined streets and the gentle tranquility of days gone by. Yet, as you regard the city in front of you, it appears to be little more than an empty shell. Its hollow gates are open to you, beckoning you to come forth and bring salvation back to the town.
I carefully read every line of the letter and turn my attention to the signatures at the bottom. Who issued this commission to us?
You see a long string of unfamiliar names. It would seem that many of the residents of the city issued this commission together. They sensed that things were not right within the kingdom and sent a distress signal to the outside world.
In that case, why don't we take a walk around the city and see if we can learn anything from the local residents?
Oh, good idea. We might be able to get some leads on the monsters and bad guys we're after.
You look up and see a tavern nearby. It appears to be open for the day.
Why don't we go check out that tavern? If the novels I've read are anything to go by, taverns are usually full of information.
As you approach the tavern, you find a plainly dressed woman standing nearby. She appears to be rather troubled about something.
Greetings, friend. Lovely weather we're having today, don't you think?
Oh, hello. I suppose you're right. The weather today is quite lovely. If only those monsters out there would stop causing trouble.
It seems like every character included in the script has a certain amount of useful information to offer. If we keep asking questions, we might be able to get some good leads.
Oh, come now, don't be sad. Life is all about optimism. Oh, that reminds me. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
Huh?
I don't think that's the kind of question we're supposed to ask.
Nothing turns a frown upside down like good food. How about some macarons? I could make you some.
You didn't even take cooking as one of your skill proficiencies.
That's not necessary, miss. Excuse me for saying this, but you don't really look like a chef. Besides, I'm not really a fan of sweets.
So you're someone who barely smiles and doesn't like sweets. You're really starting to remind me of this one friend of mine. Hey! Did she just... me?
Glorianne must have broke character for a second.
This isn't getting us anywhere. Traveler, maybe you can think of something.
The results of insight checks aren't disclosed to the players, so I'll be the one consulting the phaetometer. You recall all the lessons you've learned in your time and begin to carefully observe the woman's mannerisms. You notice that when she's quiet, she has an empty look in her eyes, as if her thoughts have drifted to a place far, far away. And when she speaks, she often subconsciously reaches out to touch the ring on her left hand. So you noticed. That's a little embarrassing. A horde of monsters suddenly appeared near the capital recently, so all the guards were dispatched to fight them.
Do you remember when those monsters appeared?
I'm not completely sure. All I know is that my husband was dispatched to fight them 3 days ago.
Do you know where he was sent?
It all happened so fast. When we said our goodbyes, he couldn't even tell me where they were sending him.
You have our thanks, friend. We'll find and defeat those monsters as soon as possible. We sincerely hope your husband will be able to return to your side soon.
Oh, thank you.
Don't worry. We'll find him. Just try to remain optimistic and wait for good news. We don't always get to choose what happens to us. But we do get to choose the little things like what we eat and how we respond to the things life throws our way. I hope that one day, you too will recognize the power of something as small and inconsequential as a delicious dessert.
I'll do my best. You bid farewell to the woman, and continue your journey further into the city. As you venture further into the city, the streets appear largely empty. An elderly woman walks past. You see her shake her head as she puts away her wrinkled wallet. A nearby merchant folds his arms and gives you a disdainful look. You get the impression that he's someone who has long gotten used to the sight before him.
Although he doesn't seem very friendly, merchants are usually a good source of information, right?
Pardon me, sir. I'd like to ask a question if I may.
That depends. How much are you willing to pay?
How about this much?
What do you take me for? Some lowly beggar? You can't even buy half an onion with that amount.
Surely an onion can't be that expensive, right?
What do you know? War's nearly upon us. Everything costs several times what it did before. If you're not gonna buy anything, then scram.
Whoa, what a nasty guy. Maybe we shouldn't even bother talking to him.
But he still might have information we need. Traveler, can you think of something? Sir, we came to this city to solve the very problem you seem to be referring to. The war you mentioned, would it happen to be against the monsters outside the city? If you happen to be well informed and know a thing or two about what's going on, we'd appreciate it if you could share that information with us. After all, the sooner this problem gets resolved, the easier it will be for you to do your business.
Well, things are basically as you said, young lady. Those monsters are camped outside the city, and they've been destroying all our trade routes. We have limited reserves within the city, so if this continues, we're all gonna be in big trouble.
Wait, you're saying no one has put a plan in place to distribute supplies or maintain order?
We could all starve, and those nobles in the palace wouldn't even break a sweat. Who knows? Maybe they've been in cahoots with the monsters all along.
That is concerning.
All right. That's all the information you need, right? Off with you now. I've still got business to do.
You know, if you smiled a little more, you'd definitely get more business. And I bet that would make your life just a little bit sweeter. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to work. It's just a tip.
Should we try to go somewhere with more people?
Oh, how about the city square? Follow me.
Before you lies the city's central square. You see a man with a slightly anxious look on his face, pacing back and forth, his head hanging low. He doesn't seem to notice your approach. Still immersed in his own thoughts, he shakes his head and lets out a long sigh.
This guy seems promising enough. Maybe I can get some information out of him. Hello, sir. Is there anything I can do to help you?
Wait, you're...
I'm...
Oh, dear goodness! You're a Marashose hunter!
You recognize us? Ah, are you one of the people who wrote the commission letter?
Yes! Oh, I didn't expect you to actually come! Oh, what great news! The city is saved!
What happened here?
Alas, we once lived comfortable, carefree lives. This city used to be free of monsters. The first Marashose hunter, Casiodor, the Golden Hunter, he was the one who drove them back. However, monsters have once again surrounded the city. Perhaps the seal that kept them at bay has lost its power. Or perhaps an evil sorcerer has been meddling in our affairs. All I know for sure is that their return has stripped the city of any chance at peace.
Are there not enough soldiers to drive them out?
It's not a question of numbers. The guards simply have no idea how to deal with them. Most people my age have never even seen one of the monsters, much less been trained to fight against them. What's worse, many of us don't even know the history of the Marashose hunters anymore. When I was a child, though, my grandfather would tell me stories about how the Marashose hunters drove back the monsters. So, on the off chance that something might come of it, I decided to reach out to you. To be perfectly honest, I was starting to think all those stories were just tall tales. But now that I've seen you in person, I finally know that it was true!
Well, you can rest easy, friend. The righteous and formidable Marashose hunters are on the case.
The man is touched by your determination and resolve. His eyes begin to well with tears of relief.
Still, if we are going to hunt the monsters, we need to know where to find them. Can you give us any leads?
All I know is that the area outside the city is dangerous. I'm afraid I can't point you toward a specific location. Oh, although, if you leave the capital through the main gate and follow the road, you should run into a group of guards. They might know more about where to find the monsters.
I see. We'll go look for them then.
All right, be careful. Oh, and one last thing. The monsters outside the city are just part of the problem. There are evil sorcerers inside the city as well, so be on your guard. They're actively working with the monsters, and have corrupted the court ministers with malicious magic. They're the reason why, even inside the city, everything has been a giant mess. Even one of our kindest ministers has turned into a boorish and unreasonable figure, interested in nothing but enacting laws that exploit the people. Who knows how much longer we'll be able to go on like this.
Talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place.
I feel bad for him. Maybe we should try to cheer him up?
Huh? Like, now? Is this really the right time?
I appreciate your kindness, but for now, it's more important to focus on the crisis at hand. Brave hunters, I leave the future of this kingdom to you.
If I understood correctly, there are currently 2 problems in the kingdom that need solving, right?
Exactly. We need to defeat the monsters outside the city and take down the evil sorcerer stirring up trouble from within.
But which problem should we tackle first?
Well, this seems like a good moment for a break. Take some time and discuss what you want to do. Let me know when you've made your decision.
I really didn't expect the people in the city to keep us at arm's length like that. I totally thought the hunters would be treated like heroes.
Well, Clarence said the script took cues from the real history of Fontaine, right? Maybe the real-life Marachose hunters were also treated like that.
I wouldn't say it's a perfect representation of history, but there are definitely some similarities. Would you like to hear more about it?
Sure. As long as it doesn't spoil anything in the script. You've brought up bits and pieces of the hunter's history before, but it was all in passing.
Paimon wants to know too! The hunters were super powerful, right? Were they all from a special line of supernatural beings or something? Kinda like the yokai in Inazuma?
No. All Marachose hunters were ordinary mortal fighters. The only thing that set them apart were the special sword techniques passed down over the centuries.
Huh? So you mean anyone could become a Marachose hunter?
In theory, yes. All you would need to do is survive the rigorous training and master the swordsmanship techniques required to fight the monsters. Still, most people dropped out at the early stages, and others called it quits the minute they saw a monster in person. To become a hunter, you must be strong in both body and mind.
What kind of monsters did the hunters fight exactly? Oh, and the evil sorcerer the script mentions. Did they exist in real life too?
The land of Fontaine once played host to an ancient dynasty known as Remuria. After that dynasty fell, monsters began to appear, intent on obstructing humans from establishing a new social order. One of the ancient sorcerers of Remuria used his power to assemble a formidable army of golems. He sought to use that force to establish himself as king.
Now wait a second. Don't tell me that guy was the inspiration for the evil sorcerer in the script. We still haven't found any in-game information on him yet. So, why don't you talk about someone else for now?
Well, I wasn't planning on going into anything you might be able to find out in the game. But if you want me to talk about something else, then... How about Casiodor, the Golden Hunter? Or Egeria, the ex-Hydro Archon?
Wait, but those people are all from a super long time ago. Where did you learn all this, Claran?
From my master.
Huh. By master, you mean Miss Petronia?
Is someone you know?
Absolutely. Miss Petronia and my father were good friends. Back in the day, she would often bring Clorand over to play, but then...
Let's not get off topic. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Responding to Egeria's call, a number of warriors followed Casiodor into battle against the monsters. This group of warriors, under Casiodor's leadership, became known as the Marachose Hunters. Yet, as Fontaine entered an era of peace, their work gradually became obsolete. The Marachose Phantom, originally an association made up of hunters, eventually came to be predominantly comprised of Melusines.
Ah, I see. That explains why most of the people in the script have forgotten the hunters or think of them as nothing more than a legend.
Is that really a bad thing, though? It can get tough always being the one shouldering everyone's expectations.
Depends on who you ask, I suppose. If the name of the organization no longer commands respect, investigative work is bound to suffer.
Speaking of investigations, which problem should we tackle first? Monsters or evil sorcerer?
I vote monsters. That's the main duty of the hunters, right? We can come back to the sorcerer later.
Well said, Miss Farina. Plus, if the sorcerers really are the masterminds behind this whole thing, defeating the monsters could give us some clues on their intentions as well.
What about you, partner? What do you think? It's decided then.
All right. After some discussion, you decide to turn around and head out of the city. You there! Outsiders, halt!
Who's there?
An armored man approaches you. He has a tall, muscular build and a determined expression in his eyes. Just one look, and you can tell he's fought in his fair share of battles. Although he's trying his best to conceal his current state, his uneven gait and the sweat dripping down his forehead make it obvious that he's been wounded and is in serious pain. I'm the captain of the guard. I saw you sneaking around the city earlier, so I'll only ask this once. State your purpose, or it's off to the dungeons for the lot of you.
Wow, it's been a while since someone's been this suspicious of us.
I said talk, not whisper between yourselves.
Have you ever heard of the Marchese Hunters?
Marachose hunters? Ha! That fairy tale, you mean? What, you expect me to believe you're one of them? With some suspicion, the captain allows you to survey his condition after you announce yourself as a trained doctor. Unfortunately, you're unable to adequately assess the source of his injury, much less come up with a way to relieve his pain.
I'm sorry. My skills are a little rusty.
Well, this is no ordinary wound. It was inflicted by a monster. Now tell me, are you truly a Marachose hunter? He regards you with suspicion for quite some time before shaking his head. Perhaps he's finally accepted that you're here to help.
Sir, we were indeed in the city earlier, but our purpose was only to gather information on the monsters. We're here to help the city and all the people within it. Your guards are still fighting the monsters as we speak. They could be seriously wounded and in grave need of support. You need all the help you can get.
The man regards you with doubt and concern. After a period of inner struggle, he lets out a long sigh and informs you of the locations where the monsters have appeared. Some of our new recruits have never even dealt with a petty thief, and now they're out there fighting monsters. If it weren't for this cursed leg.
Oh, please, sir. Don't get too worked up. You need to focus on your recovery. Just leave the monsters to us. We're Marachose hunters after all.
Hearing you say that, a glimmer of hope flashes in his eyes. But it disappears almost as quickly as it came. Those monsters aren't easy to deal with. But if you insist on going, I won't stop you either. I just hope all the guards will be able to come back to their families alive. I wish you the best of luck.
Based on what the captain said, the monster should be right up ahead. Let's go. Hopefully we're not too late.
As you approach the battlefield, you see numerous people lying by the side of the road. They appear to be dressed like guards. Their faces are filled with desperation and terror. Some are screaming and cursing in vain, as if still trying to banish the monstrosities they saw from their minds. A few of the wounded look up at you in shock and disbelief. "Quick, leave this place! Turn around and don't look back!" they yell.
This is the place he mentioned, right?
You see broken iron swords scattered all around you, and downed trees riddled with terrifying claw marks. All the signs point to one thing. A truly devastating battle just took place here.
Be on your guard, everyone. The monsters might still be around.
Before you can finish your sentence, You hear rustling sounds from the surrounding bushes. The monsters have emerged. They close in on you without fear. You get the impression that, in their bloodthirsty eyes, you're just another meal for them to devour.
A little help here! This thing wants to eat Paimon!
Your battle round begins now.
And voila!
The next battle round begins now.
Watch out! Coming at ya!
Now disappear! Let's get this show on the road!
The monsters let out a terrifying roar of anger and resentment before dissipating into thin air.
Ugh, thank goodness it's over.
We're lucky the Marashose Hunter class came with all those preset skill points. Otherwise, we would have been in some real trouble.
I never knew the photometer even determines the amount of damage you inflict. If you get unlucky, isn't it just game over right then and there?
That's part of the fun. The uncertainty of fate is what gives these games their appeal.
Just as you begin to celebrate your victory, a suspicious lump on the ground catches your attention.
A suspicious lump? Wait, could it be the thing that appears after every battle?
I walk up to it, crouch down, and begin to carefully examine it. I've still got my right glove on, so it should be fine for me to touch it, right?
As you investigate the mound, you discover that the exposed portion appears to be made of wood. It was previously obscured by the large form of the monsters. With the monsters gone, the small protrusion now awaits your discovery, poking out of the ground like a shy flower bud.
Whoa, it's a treasure chest!
With everyone's help, you successfully excavate the wooden chest from the ground. Even without opening it, you can tell from the mora and jewels scattered around the chest that it must contain quite the fortune.
Makes sense. We worked hard for this. Let's open it and we can share what's inside.
I can understand your excitement, Paimon, but think about it. Doesn't it seem like there are people out there who need this treasure more than us?
Yeah. Think about all the people suffering in the capital. Or all those guards who got hurt fighting the monsters. Wouldn't it be better if we gave the treasure to them?
Wait, is that how it works? Paimon thought since we were the ones to dig it up, we could just take it for ourselves.
Well, let's put it this way. Any decision you make during a role-playing game can impact the future course of the story.
But would the people really believe us? It's hard enough for us to prove we're Marashose hunters. What if they think we procured the treasure illegally? They might get even more suspicious of us.
That's definitely something we should consider. Maybe we can come up with an explanation in advance.
Well, if donating it could cause that much trouble, why don't we use it to buy some gear and fill up on good food? Then we'll be ready to fight even more bad guys.
Looks like you're facing a difficult choice once again. Well, it's getting late. Why don't we call it a day for now?
Wow, where did the time go?
I'm not sure if it's because I'm having so much fun with you all or because the story is particularly enticing, but I feel like I could almost keep going.
Here, here. Ooh, how about we play through the night?
I'm not sure I'll have enough energy for that.
Yeah, that won't work for me either. Lynette will give me an earful if I get home too late.
I understand how you feel, Navia, but we have to change venues for the next part of the story anyway.
Huh? Another location?
There's a special note for the GM at the end of this section that says to proceed to an indoor set for the next part of the script.
Whoa! They really pulled out all the stops for this new script.
Well, even if we end the game for the day, we can still stay a little longer and hear Cloran finish her story, right? Paimon wants to hear more about the history of the Hunters.
Something tells me you just want to finish the free desserts before we break for the day.
That's just a coincidence, okay? Besides, to Paimon, not finishing free food feels even worse than having to buy her own. And anyway, Paimon really does want to hear more about Cloran's master.
Well...
It's nothing. I appreciate the concern, but it's all in the past. It won't do any harm to share these things now. My earliest memories are of living with Master. According to her, she saved me from certain people of ill repute. My birth parents had left me behind some time before that.
What a heavy beginning for a life story.
Master was a fascinating individual, if inexperienced in the ways of raising children. My first ever toy was a short sword. Although I suppose it wasn't so much a toy as something Master removed from her waist and handed to a noisy child in need of distraction.
Oh wait, so she handed an actual sword to a child? Isn't that dangerous? Did you hurt yourself?
Of course I did. I cut my palm and bled quite a lot. But Master was not concerned. She just stood there and casually lectured me about it. See, that's what you get for not holding the sword properly, she told me. She then crouched down next to me and said, "Give me your hand. I'll teach you to bandage this wound. After that, it's time to learn how to truly hold a blade."
Excuse me for asking this, Clorand, but how old were you exactly when all this happened?
Probably around, 3, give or take.
3? Isn't that when most kids are still struggling to hold a fork?
As I said, Master was rather inexperienced in the ways of raising children. She believed trial and error was the best way to teach a child what they're capable of.
I'm not so sure this is a question of experience.
I didn't see anything wrong with her ways at the time. And anyway, children don't get to choose how they're raised. Oh, she did bring me back a pet from Liyue once. It was a Geovishap hatchling.
A Geovishap hatchling? For a pet? That seems even more dangerous.
What she said was this: make sure to get along, you two. If you really can't agree on something, just settle it with a fight. Whoever loses is the real pet.
And how old were you when this happened?
5.
Well, did she win?
No, I lost.
So you're saying you actually became the Geovishap's pet?
Yes, but only for a week. By the end of that week, I defeated it in combat, and we've shared a cordial relationship ever since.
That really doesn't sound like the kind of childhood someone should have.
Later on, I gradually understood that Master most likely didn't know any other way to raise a child. She was a Marachose hunter, but I never heard her bring up her own parents. Thanks to her, I learned how to navigate the forest by the age of 6, and could hunt monsters in the wild by myself the year after that. Even though the training she subjected me to was strict, she always made sure to take me traveling when she had the time. We met many of her friends during those days. That was also how I met Mr. Callis and his family.
I still remember the first time we met. You were too scared to join our picnic and hid behind Ms. Petronia the whole time.
I still hadn't really met many children my age at that time, so I didn't know how to interact with others.
After that, though, you started coming over a lot. You loved challenging people to shooting competitions, remember? I don't think many members of the Spina ever beat you in one of those.
I had a lot of fun during those days.
I enjoyed them too. Oh, do you remember that one time we went exploring around the Spina together? We overheard Papa call your master Fontaine's Protector of Justice. We tried to pretend like we never heard anything, but you nearly let it slip that one time.
Protector of Justice? Oh, wait, you mean that vigilante hero from 20 years ago? The one who is always active at night?
Yep, that would be her. She often would put on a black cloak and go out at night. I never knew where she went or what she was doing. Until, like Navia said, we overheard the truth from Mr. Callis that night.
20 years ago, huh? I still remember the guards leaving all kinds of witness reports about her on Nervalette's desk.
My apologies.
Oh, there's no need to apologize. You had nothing to do with it. And anyway, everything she did was for a good cause. Although, calling herself the Protector of Order was a bit much. Especially when she deliberately operated outside the law.
Huh? When did the Protector of Justice become the Protector of Order?
Oh, she had a bunch of code names. I heard she would just come up with a name on the spot whenever she was asked. Later on, she probably got sick of answering those questions and decided to stick to just two. The Protector of Justice and the Protector of Order.
That sounds like her, all right. I bet she forgot which of the two she'd use by the time she got back each night.
Well, she certainly sounds like a fascinating individual. With her strong sense of justice, it's no surprise her student followed in her footsteps.
It's true. I always wanted to become like her. Someone powerful, independent, and with a strong sense of conviction. But... She suddenly disappeared the night I turned 10 years old.
Disappeared? What happened?
I have no idea. She didn't even leave a note. I was never able to find out where she went. That night, I was celebrating my birthday at Navia's house. But Master never came to pick me up. When I returned home on my own, it was to an empty house. When she still didn't appear after a few days, I went to Mr. Callis's house to ask about her whereabouts. But he only shook his head.
Papa probably didn't know either. I know he sent a few people to investigate the matter in secret, but they never found any credible leads.
Don't worry, I understand. To be perfectly honest, given Master's personality and way of doing things, it all made a lot of sense. If I had to guess, I'd say she probably used it as an opportunity to force me to become independent. Just like how, when a litter of kittens reaches a certain age, the mother willingly leaves them behind.
Were you upset, Clorinde?
I was at first, but not anymore. I don't believe Master would suddenly disappear for no reason. There must have been something she just had to do.
Well, despite everything, you still managed to follow in her footsteps and become the greatest champion duelist in all of Fontaine. You're practically a living symbol of law and justice.
I suspect my position would be far too by the books for her. Master always did whatever she pleased. But you're right. I suppose I do take after her in some ways.
Who knew Clorinde had such an interesting past? I never had the chance to ask her about it before. I wonder... if Clorinde's master were the champion duelist back then, would that duel against Mr. Callis have gone differently? Oh no. Judging by the atmosphere, Cloranda and Navia are probably thinking something similar. The mood just got super awkward all of a sudden.
Well, anyway. Would you look at the time? It's getting dark, so we should probably call it a day for real this time. If we keep talking like this, we really will be here all night.
I had a great time today, Miss Clorand. Thank you for being our GM.
Anytime.
The script was good, but I've got to say, your childhood stories were even better. Hey, you should tell us more about that fight against the Geo-Bishop sometime. Maybe your master was onto something.
You could be right.
What does she mean, onto something? I certainly don't know any 5-year-olds who want to fight a bishop in their spare time. Guess I'll head back as well. I need to save my energy if I want to continue enjoying the story tomorrow.
You're that excited to hear about my fight with the bishop?
I was talking about the script.
Every course of action has its risks. Be careful. We should prepare while we can, then make a preemptive strike against the enemy. Let's take a moment to rest and plan our next move. Every course of action has its risks. Be careful. Every course of action has its risks. Be careful.
Just between the two of us, could you tell me what it was like to be the Geovishop's pet?
It was nothing special, really. Geovishops don't understand the concept of a pet. So basically, it just headbutted me whenever I entered its territory.
And that hurt?
Yeah, it hurt. What, something you want to experience for yourself?
Oh, I'm good. Thanks.
Every course of action has its risks. Be careful.